Hi, I'm Ashot. I call this episode HSP, Highly Sensitive People. Once, my beloved neighbor told me an emotional story. He called it the story of one disgusting evening. The thing is, he has a huge family spread all over the world, and some part of this family regularly visits him. So was it also last time. This crowd flew in to visit him. They had a great time, and by the evening they got hungry. And what did they decide to do? Go to the restaurant. To which one? Naturally, to his favorite restaurant, where he goes daily with his wife, so he knows everything is fine there. But something went wrong that day and the restaurant was closed. And so the whole crowd made a rather spontaneous decision to go to a restaurant at random. And there he sits, my dear neighbor, in a fully new restaurant for him, at a huge table with all this crowd of relatives. The mean waiter is with his sharp pen in the hand, finally tries just to write down the order into his notebook. My friend studies the menu to first get a rough idea of what they offer himself and then tell it to the relatives. And the relatives, they just don't sit and wait patiently. They bombard him with questions. And those about the weather, about the sightseeing in the city center, and many other stupid things. My friend said then he had never ever experienced such enjoyment from peace and quietness as when they finally flew home. But actually, it was only about the very holy thing called relatives and only about going for dinner in a restaurant, right? Let's give it a shot. Listening to my beloved neighbor, I remembered that I had already encountered the theory of HSP, highly sensitive people. Back in the 90s, psychologist Aaron discovered this ability in herself and then came to the conclusion that 10 to 15%, today maybe 20% of the population have this feature in brain cells, in neurons. Personally, I find the DOES model, in English DOES, to be the most acceptable for describing highly sensitive persons. Let's do it together. So, the first letter is D. It stands for depth. Highly sensitive people are able to perceive the surrounding world with their five senses to a greater depth than other people. The second letter is O, stands for overwhelming. Highly sensitive people become oversaturated with information faster than other people and need peace somewhere in the corner. The next letter is E. It stands for emotion, empathy. The highly sensitive people experience intense emotions and often don't distinguish between another person's emotions and their own. They experience increased compassion and philanthropy. And the last letter S stands for sensitivity to details. Highly sensitive people are able to distinguish minimal changes in the environment. They'll come to your place and say, hey, listen, has this drum always been there? And then you suddenly realize, yeah, you indeed rearranged it 2 weeks ago. Several parallels can also be drawn to explain highly sensitive people. If it's about nature, highly sensitive people will often wear sunglasses. Many of them have increased sensitivity to light up to migraines. If it's about music, they won't listen to excessively loud music. If it's a child, you should never raise your voice at them, ever. If they're audiophiles, they will never listen to MP3 format because they understand that it narrows the information, removes and distorts. They will definitely listen to FLAC, uncompressed music. If it's about photography, highly sensitive people will never shoot in JPEG. They will definitely work with uncompressed formats such as RAW. So, If you have a highly sensitive person next to you, enjoy. It can be very interesting and very deep with them. But remember, they need to recharge their batteries more often than you do.